Far out in the uncharted backwaters of the unfashionable end of the western spiral arm of the galaxy lies a small, unregarded yellow sun. Orbiting this at a distance of roughly 92 million miles is an utterly insignificant little blue-green planet whose ape-descended lifeforms are so amazingly primitive that two of them still think doing a podcast called Digital Watches Are a Pretty Neat Idea is a pretty neat idea. These podcasters have, or rather had, a problem, which was this. Actually, this is the solution.
This hedgehog, that chimney pot, the other pair of Don Alfonso's tweezers. This was digital watches are a pretty neat idea.
Hey, Jeff, what the hell was that?
What? What are you talking about? Are the different music?
Well, I know what this is, but what was that?
Well, that was some of the most fun I ever had after I discovered an AI music and song generator that was free online.
All right. So we're experimenting then.
We are experimenting, and we're going to experiment 9 times.
Oh my gosh. Awesome.
So,
awesome. I love it.
There are 9 episodes of the Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency, the Salmon of Doubt comic book that we're going to be looking through. And every episode is going to start with a different theme song. And you are going to have to create some of these. I will send you the link to the generator, and you can type in some lyrics and some styles and come up with something, because I'm going to need 3 or 4 from you at least.
No problem. You can count on me, because this is what we're all about.
Right. So if anybody out there hears one of the songs that they think, hey, that should be their song forever, let us know, and maybe we'll make it our song forever.
That sounds great. I really love it. I really, really love it. But talking about unexpected things, I sent you a picture today, so what did you think of it?
I thought that it looked great. It was perfect. You could see her in there, but she wouldn't recognize herself.
No, I don't believe she would, but I thought it was great. Of course, we're talking about the commission picture I had drawn by Bobby Breed of my wife in the Mardi Gras death face style. And it's really, really awesome. I don't know that I'll ever share it with her directly. She'll probably see it and wonder what it is, but because it's going to be prominently displayed in my office.
Right.
But I'm not sure she'd appreciate it as much as I do.
And I'll put it up on the Instagram along with the other stuff. So you got to send me the Maleficent.
Yes, I do have
drawing.
to send you Maleficent too. So that'll be awesome. I can't wait to see those online.
All right, so now that we're done with old business, let's get to the new business. It is a very interesting cover.
Yes, it is.
3 different versions of Dirk Gently. It has the young child version reading the Douglas Adams book, Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency. And while he's doing that, he's thinking of the version of Dirk Gently that we saw in the previous 2 comics.
That's right.
And he is thinking about the version of Dirk Gently that we saw in the TV show.
That's right. The yellow jacket and all.
And he is thinking about the child reading the book.
And of course, in the background of each image is a, what do we call those? Murder board?
Murder boards, yes.
So, yep. We've got David, Kyriazis, and Kirchhoff on the covers as contributing drawing artists, etc.
Yes.
And this is volume 1 of this issue.
All right, so let's take a look at page 1. So page 1 is explaining Dirk gently and his holistic detective agency like it is the first time we've ever met him.
Yep, no new news on this page.
No. So basically he's saying he's a holistic detective, that he is not a traditional detective and doesn't do pocket fluff or fingerprints, and everything is connected, and he has mentioned that he has solved some very troubling cases. So we will go on to page 2. So on this page, he is going to describe a few of the troubling cases he has solved. One of them involves an electric monk and a sofa in the stairwell. One involves Thor and the nurse Sally Mills. And one, most recently, he has been involved in a case of interdimensional poaching.
And on the bottom, we find Dirk reflecting that he remembers every one of his cases, and he remembers them very well. But of late, his memory has been doing something weird, and yes, even for him, it's weird.
So the top of the page, probably the top 3/4 or 4/5 of the page, is sort of a triptych that has the electric monk up on some sort of couch on its end, but clearly not stuck.
Right. not in a circular staircase, no. Except the horse is standing on the odd end of the couch.
Yes. Yeah, the horse is definitely stuck, but the couch is not. And they've got Sally Mills.
Across all 3 panels, yep.
Yes. And Thor is in the background of that center panel. And then, of course, we have
the aliens coming out of the nose of the rhinoceros.
Surrounding the tent with the silhouette of Madlock and Tamasha doing what they do best.
Oh my goodness.
So we will go to page 3. So this is sort of the title page introducing the comic, and it is Dirk sitting at a desk, and basically he is saying, I have of late, I know not why, been reliving bad memories. And he's surrounded, or he has bad memories hovering over him while he sits at his desk. Being bullied by his friends.
Imprisoned by the general.
Having knives thrown at him by his friend from the institution.
And in the lower panel, he looks like he's again in his room at the institution.
Right.
Lamenting his life.
Yes. And in the top right corner, they have a swirling vortex, which has to be his predictive abilities, because there's the 9/11 World Trade Center planes flying into it below that. So he did predict 9/11 according to another one of these comics. On the floor at his feet, there's a ball of string, but I don't see Bernice. There's a cat food bowl, and I see...
Bernice is on his lap.
Oh, Bernice is on his lap. There she is. Black cat, negative space.
Oh, yeah, a negative space.
Hard to see.
Absolutely. And on the bottom of the page, it says, The Salmon of Doubt, Chapter 1, Can't Go Home Again.
Can't go home again. What does that mean? I bet we find out.
Or, as usual, we'll be left hanging.
That's right.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so we'll go on to page 4.
So on this page, the left-hand side of the page, about a third of it, is a full panel. You see a train, and it looks like some birds, maybe doves, something like that, flying over the train. And against the background, you see the words that are in Dirk's mind. He says, The things I remember are all incidents from my childhood. The trouble is, none of these things ever happened. At least, not to me.
Which now then makes me wonder of what things happened, what things didn't happen.
And are they ever going to tell us which ones were real and which ones were made up?
Right. So he's sitting on the train, playing with Bernice, coming out of her cage, and talking to Sally Mills.
Mm-hmm.
And she just wants to know what the childhood of a holistic detective looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And makes some crack about tangential connections at prep school, and Dirk is a little tired of the jokes. Explains that his mom is English. His father, who he never met, most likely was Transylvanian, since he was born and had his early years in Transylvania. And then he got sent to a unremarkable boarding school. So we'll go on to page 5.
Just as an aside here, I think he's suggesting that he didn't spend time in the institution as a child.
Right.
Which is what we've seen in the previous comics.
Yes.
He's saying that didn't happen.
Well, the thing that gets me is in this conversation with Sally about his memories being wonky, she's saying that people forget things.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, I know people forget things, but that's not what's happening. I'm not forgetting things. I'm remembering extra. So it sounds like there are additions in his memory of things that he is sure weren't there when they happened.
Right. But to cover the page, since we started in the middle, which was good, the top of the page, we see them exit the train, and our little friend Bernice decides that freedom is more valuable than a jail cell.
Yes.
And scampers away from the both of them. Dirk has no fear for his cat. He knows that it will return, as it so often does. And Sally says, man, that's some weird cat.
Yes. They have arrived in the city where St. Sed's is. So Dirk is just expecting Bernice to go visit her friends at the theoretical physics lab.
Mm-hmm.
To be put in another box.
Asleep or awake. We don't know which.
Right. But then the one thing that is a little bit strange is I'm going to read the last 5 balloons or whatever that Dirk is explaining to Sally. He says, but somehow these new memories are not of my relatively normal, if somewhat lonely childhood, where the only strange thing was, well, me. These are adventures with the American military, of shadowy figures that either kidnapped me or tried to train me, or both, and of a collection of other people with abilities like mine. Not exactly like mine, but not exactly not like mine either. Long experience has taught me to be highly suspicious when my mind starts being full of thoughts not my own. It is one of the things that launched me into my career as a holistic detective.
Right, exactly.
So like you did say to me,
It
does seem that the whole childhood in the institution he believes is a fiction.
Right. Basically the whole story plot line of the TV show.
Right. So on to page 6. This is just weird. So I guess that's all we're going to see of Bernice. So on this page, Dirk and Sally are continuing their conversation, and she is hoping that being back in Cambridge might prompt something that he wants to remember. And he is screaming that he hasn't forgotten, but they are here because he happens to be his own client, and there's a colleague uniquely qualified to help him find the truth about the past. Or if not actually the truth, at least something not entirely unlike it.
And that's the top half of the panel.
Bottom half, we might have an exit early in issue 1.
Exit stage right. What we see is Bernice again at the feet of all these people, and she seems to be interested in a spider.
Of all things.
And then we hear what we believe to be the inner thoughts of the cat, where she says, don't get me wrong, I like Dirk plenty. He's cool enough. The dude has a unique aptitude for finding cats. But since that Sally chick started coming around all the time, well, you know, call me old-fashioned, but I think three's a crowd.
So, it sounds like Bernice is bugging out, literally.
Mm-hmm. As she chases the spider down the alleyway.
So we'll go to page 7. So as we watch Bernice continue to stalk the spider down the alleyway, the inner thoughts of Bernice continue. Bernice still doesn't know what Sally is doing, hanging about. They're not mating or anything, and she knows that. Why does she know they're not mating, Brian?
Because she said I would smell that.
Right.
She's just always freaking there.
And she continues to chase the spider down the alleyway, stalks, gets closer and closer, and then all of a sudden, what every horror writer, I think, has to do in their career is do a story about what? A giant freaking spider.
Yes, absolutely. It's something like that. Or a zombie spider or something. I'm not sure what it is.
Well, the tiny little spider that Bernice was chasing suddenly has a giant foot that almost stomps her, and one hand has grabbed her around the neck and holding her up in the air.
Feel sorry for Bernice. She's just such a sad face.
Yes. So, page 8.
Oh.
Definitely not a spider.
No. We see a giant troll-like creature.
Yes.
Grasping Bernice by the neck. And
and the spider's off to the side.
yes, the spider is still there in the trash can.
So the spider did not transform.
No, you're right.
The spider probably lured, come into my lair, said the spider. So spider probably lured Bernice to the troll.
In the bottom half of the panel, we get to see a close-up of the troll. And the troll says to Bernice, "Who is a pretty little girl then?"
And Bernice just kind of meows, and then you hear her inner thoughts, which is, Christ in a bucket. They said sexual assault in college towns was up, but this is ridiculous. Also, help, Dirk.
Well played, kitty.
Describe the troll.
Describe the troll. Oh my gosh. The troll has a massive head.
Yes.
And
kind of like a Ferengi from Star Trek.
Oh, absolutely right. With small beady eyes and large ears. Yes. And a bulbous nose. Quite the rack of teeth. It must be like 600 teeth.
That's right.
300 on each set. Oh my gosh.
Naked except for a loincloth.
That's right.
And nobody has cleaned that alleyway in a long time.
That's for darn sure.
So we will move to page 9. So on this page, we jump back to the story of the book. And it appears that Sally and Dirk have arrived at Reg's house. And there is a horse still there. So evidently the horse is back in Reg's house.
Hanging around in the living room.
Yes. Reg doesn't appear to be home.
Nope.
And Dirk is explaining to Sally how he met Reg once, had a deep connection, and then they avoided each other for the rest of his time at St. Sed's. And it appears he's going to take a page out of Richard's book and climb up something and climb through a window to get in. And Reg has a bunch of books on his shelf that you can see in the apartment.
Right, and all of them are books you'd expect, like The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, Prince Caspian of Narnia, The Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, and Tolkien, of course. And then the one thing that I can't quite figure out is the one that's labeled, looks like either Silver Chair.
That's what I see.
Or Silver China. And I'm like, I'm not sure I get that one.
No, I don't get Silver Chair or Silver China.
It's weird.
It would have been better if he had a history of Greece or something.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So we will move to page 10. So as expected, Dirk scales the wall to a upper floor window, and as he opens it, a horse head neighs and sticks its head out the window, and Dirk always forgets about the horse. And what's the horse's name?
Binky.
Binky. The horse's name is Binky.
Okay.
A white horse.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And Dirk falls to the ground, of which he is then joined, it appears, by the professor.
Mm-hmm.
Page 11. Okay, so already a third of the way through this first of 9 issues, I'm getting a little bit annoyed. Because not only is he trying to tell 2 parallel stories, which is fine. I'm used to 2 parallel stories meeting, but he's telling them on the same page every single time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's quite the trick here. Of course, here at the top, we see the professor reunited with Dirk.
Yes. Does not look how I expected him to look.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Because of the drawing of him in a previous comic.
That's right. Here he looks much older. Much older. And
he looks more like, what's his name? The guy with the golden phone.
Golden phone? I'm sure I'll know the reference eventually. I don't know that reference right off the top of my head.
Okay. The Pharaoh gave all the golden phones to suck the souls out of the homeless people.
Okay, the golden phone. Yes, he looks like oh yeah, what the hell's his name?
Crowther.
Crowther, that's it. Okay.
And then looking at the picture of Crowther, I mean, he's an older version of Crowther.
Yeah, you're right. That does look like an older version of Crowther, and much smaller though too, because Crowther was a pretty big guy.
Yes.
But of course, in the top panel, he's apologizing because when he leaves the door open, the horse tends to wander in from ancient Greece.
Right.
Dirk asks if he would like some tea.
And that's the top part of the page. And then the bottom portion of the page, it appears that the troll has put the cat in a bag.
Mm-hmm.
And I would imagine there's more than just Bernice in there from all of the eyes.
Clearly, yes.
And Bernice is talking about how cats always have a sense of place, but being shoved in a dark bag full of other cats, not so much.
And of course, this is a giant bag that he's slung over his shoulder.
Right.
And he's singing himself a little song as he walks along. To market, to buy a fat cat. Home again, pitterty-pat. To market, pussy to filch. Home again, to the court of the bitch. Which I think is a little weird, because filch and bitch don't exactly rhyme, but,
Yes.
anything you like.
When you're just making up words, like pittery pat, you can make up words for filch to rhyme with the word you want to use, but...
Right. Makes me wonder, we all know the home again, jiggity jig. I'm wondering if these are, to us, unknown verses.
That could be.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't ever know you would go to the market to buy a fat cat, though.
I think I've heard that before, and I'm not sure why. Well, maybe you're hungry.
Yeah. Make up your own joke about the second verse.
Yes, exactly. And sometimes it's best left to the imagination.
Right. All right. We will go to page 12. Oh, 12 and 13, because it's a double page.
So on this double page spread, we see the top section of it shows Reg's apartment there at the university. It's quite cluttered with clocks everywhere, including on his sofa.
Right.
And here he is pouring tea for Sally. And he says tea for 3. And he asks Sally again, apparently, if she would like milk or sugar.
Right.
And she says, yes, you've asked that several times.
So looking through all these clocks, lots of clocks on the wall, grandfather clocks, mantle clocks. But I'm wondering if over the arm of the purple chair to the far left would be a digital watch.
Yes, indeed. It is. Very keenly located.
And then basically, Reg and Sally are having a conversation about memory and how it isn't what it used to be. And Sally says basically what is what it used to be. And Reg liked that comment and says he sees what Dirk sees in her. So she was surprised that he knew of her, and he's talking, oh yeah, we converse all the time. We always keep correspondence. He tells me about all of his assistants.
And of course that enrages our little friend Sally.
Yeah, right as Dirk walks back in.
Mm-hmm. Dirk is quite satisfied with his having dealt with the horse-related crisis.
Yes.
Giving himself a pat on the back as he walks in the door, and then Sally insists that they go check out the tea as she drags him by the ear into the other room.
Right. Yes. And then that confuses Reg because he thought he already made the tea.
And of course, the evidence is in front of him, having 3 teacups.
Right. So we will go to page 14. So in the kitchen, Sally is confronting Dirk, and we get to watch the meltdown of a relationship.
Exactly.
She's offended that he called her his assistant. He said, but you always give me lots of assistants. And she's basically punching him and slapping him and saying, don't use your stupid catchphrases on me like you do other people. And if he dares to utter one syllable of the word holistic, it'll be the last thing he ever says to her. And the kitchen is a mess. Lots of old, half-eaten food all over on the plates. So we will go to page 15. So most of us, I'm sure, have found ourselves in this predicament, which is Dirk saying, what would you like me to say? And she asked if he remembered what she said to him when they first met. And he said, of course I do. And this is a line that I've always liked, which is, you said that if no private detective looked like a private detective, how did a private detective know what not to look like? You identified an observational paradox. And then Sally mentions the paradox that we have all lived with when having a conversation with a significant other, and we're confounded. So what did Sally say, Brian?
Well, Sally said, well, here's the thing. I can tell you what the wrong thing to say is, but I can't tell you what the right thing is. Because the second I do, it becomes the wrong thing after all.
Yes. So there's a magic phrase that goes away if she tells you what the magic phrase is.
And of course, Dirk looks puzzled without any kind of an answer. And then she goes on to say, well, you like paradoxes. Figure it out. I'm going to storm out now. But first, where is the bathroom?
And he kind of points, and she slams the door. Page 16. So in the bathroom, Sally is looking in the mirror at her makeup that's just running down her face because she's been crying, and she's turning the water on in the sink to clean herself up. And the whole time that she is doing that, she's talking about Dirk and how he's not boyfriend material, and she has decided that it is time for her to just go and find a real man at a pub somewhere else. While she's doing this, is very deliberately that they're showing us that she is turning on the left faucet and she's turning off the right faucet, and then she's pulling the drain plug, and then she's doing 2 faucets at the same time. And at that moment, there's a big wow-woom. And when we turn the page, we see that the whole bathroom has just been upended. Things are flying everywhere. And she is completely, what the?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So water is splashing and toothpaste is flying and towels are falling and bottles are breaking and...
It's mayhem. Absolute mayhem.
Yes.
And she finally settles herself enough to grab the door handle and look out the door. And then she says, okay.
Yeah. So then to page 18.
Meanwhile...
Yeah. Doesn't say meanwhile.
I know it doesn't, but it ought to, because it's very confusing what's going on at the moment.
Right, because evidently Dirk and Reg were having a conversation about the time machine being broken.
Mm-hmm.
And Dirk has got the abacus and he is shaking it back and forth saying, what do you mean it doesn't work?
Right, and what's interesting about that, of course, is that we know from his previous experience, it was the abacus was part of the function of the time machine.
Yes.
To either set the date or whatever it was that it did. But it got burnt out somehow.
Right. And it actually isn't the time machine that isn't working. It's just the abacus is no longer the control.
Right, right.
He had to rewire it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
During this time, Dirk is asking for Reg's help. And Dirk wants him to take him back to his childhood.
And Reg says, of course, my dear Dirk. What could be more charming than a hop, skip, and jump tour of your childhood? You've definitely come to the right place with your... sorry, I've forgotten. Why have you come here again?
And he says, exactly. And then we'll move to page 19.
Conversation continues. And on this page, we see the conversation between Reg and Dirk. And Dirk starts off that memory. The problem is memory, which is why you are uniquely qualified to help me. I need you to use the time machine to take me back to the moment of my childhood that I am remembering wrong, so that we can see what really happened and if that somehow has changed.
And then Reg says, brilliant. Right. Now we'll be able to get going as soon as your friend finishes using the bathroom.
And then Dirk says, oh, I don't think Sally will be coming along with us. Actually, she's, upset.
Yeah. Reg says, oh, how unfortunate. But nevertheless, we still need her to finish using the bathroom.
And Dirk says, well, why?
Because that's where the controls for the time machine are now. I rewired it into the plumbing. I control it from the sink. Makes it terribly convenient if I forget to brush my teeth and need to pop back to the night before to do it. And then, wawoom happens again to them.
Mm-hmm. Right. So they are seeing the results of the manipulation that Sally has made to the sink.
Right. So page 20. So something I didn't expect is that when she peeked out of the bathroom, I thought she would be looking at Dirk and Reg talking to each other on the sofa.
That would have been my assumption.
However, she turned to the giant room of television screens, similar to what we saw in the TV show.
Right, that's right.
And every screen seems to have a piece of Dirk's past. So it's got the present of him and Reg up at the top, and the monk on the horse.
Right, right.
To the right is the alien creatures, and there's a second version of the alien creatures up the rhinoceros's nose toward the bottom. Right in the middle is Dirk with the yellow jacket. Next to him is Todd. Above them is Todd's sister, and what appears to be 3 of the 4 of the Rowdy Three from the TV show.
That's correct. Yep, that's exactly right. Down at the bottom, of course, we see the Colonel, and we see Farah. Bart is there on the bottom.
Yes.
And Thor is next to her. And Mona is in the picture on the far left, we believe. And
yes.
I'm not sure what this final picture on the left is, the one at the very bottom. There's just 3 random people, it looks like.
Right.
Hard to tell who that would be. It's fascinating. These are all pieces of the show. The other puzzle we see on here, there's a picture of an invisible man with a red hat.
Yes, and glasses.
And glasses. And
And
I don't have any
remember.
reference. Yeah. Unless maybe he's in the story that we haven't seen.
Yeah, maybe it is.
A piece of the timeline we have yet to see. Interesting.
And this being the last page of the comic, we have the to be continued box at the bottom.
Well, it was quite a build-up, but I have to say this page is intriguing.
Yes. It was losing me a little bit going through this of where it was going, but
Right.
They ended strong.
Yes, they did. It still had the strong artistic style of the previous comic books, which I do
definitely
appreciate, the style of the drawing. In comparison to the early comic books that we were looking at, it's improved quite a bit.
Yes.
But this does create quite a puzzle. Are they going to try and tie all the universes together? Or create their own?
Maybe that's why this one is 9 issues.
There you go. Could be. Well, Jeff, now that we've reached the end of this comic book, what's next?
Well, I think the first thing I'm going to do is see if I can have the AI music generator create the next opening theme song.
That's going to be
and
awesome.
After that, we will be talking about issue 2 of Dirk Gently's holistic detective agency, The Salmon of Doubt.
Yes, this is going to be quite interesting as we go through it. And surely I will be helping you develop those songs.
Yes. And I was debating whether or not I should actually try to create the best possible song. And then I thought that would only create disappointment because it would never happen. But when you're just throwing a whole bunch of stuff out there to see what it creates, there are parts of it that are just fantastic, and you're happy for those little fantastic parts.
That's absolutely true. And it's intriguing and bizarre that even us, two relatively random humans on the face of the earth, are now using AI to generate content on the internet.
Wow, yes. Well, with that said, I think it's time to say that this is the end. Thank you for listening to this. A new episode is released on the first Thursday of every month. Visit our website at digitalwatchesareaprettyneatidea.buzzsprout.com. While there, you can find links to all of my Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy inspired t-shirt designs. You can contact us via email at digitalwatchespodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on YouTube and Facebook at Digital Watches Are a Pretty Neat Idea. You can message us on Twitter, or should I say X, at Watches Idea, and our Instagram is Watches Idea Podcast.
This has been a Foods for Thought production.